Hi everyone, I'm thrilled to be here. I just flew in this morning from New York City, and I'm very excited to be here. The New England Walk last year was the first year that I became involved with the New England Walk, and I've had a wonderful time ever since. I want to give you a little bit of information about the Walk4hearing and about the Walk4hearing program. The New England Walk4hearing is on Sunday, October 27th at Archesani Park, and it's a beautiful location. This happens to be a photo from the walk last year, and in light of a hurricane, we still had a very successful walk last year with over 600 people, and we raised a lot of money. The thing I want to talk about is that the Walk4hearing is a wonderful community event that brings a lot of people together. But what I think people fail to understand is that the Walk4hearing is part of a bigger organization at the national level and the local levels, which is the Hearing Loss Association of America. A lot of people get involved with the walk and they don't understand that there's a much bigger vehicle working for you every day to help gain access to communication and services. And the Walk4hearing is the way that we fund all these programs. So I want to give you a little insight into that. The Hearing Loss Association of America has 22 walks across the country, and since its inception we've raised over $7 million for people with hearing loss. I mean, that's a huge thing. HLAA is the biggest consumer advocacy group for hearing loss. So when you're walking on Walk Day, not only are you raising funds, but you're helping to raise awareness at a national level, and that's the way we get things done. So the purpose of the Walk4hearing is threefold. The first one is to raise awareness about hearing loss. And you can see the two photos that I picked here. One is the billboard that we had in Massachusetts. We actually had 3 billboards last year that brought a lot of walk-in walkers to our walk-in registrations to the walk, because people who hadn't previously heard about the Walk4hearing were driving down the road, they saw our billboard, and they showed up. The other one is the USS Intrepid, which is in New York City. And last year, the week before the walk, the USS Intrepid was lit up in purple and green to promote the New York City Walk4hearing. So we're always trying to find big vehicles where we can make a big splash. And this year, I am hoping, with my fingers crossed, that the Empire State Building will also be lit up in green and purple. So we're trying to gain a lot of recognition at the national and the local levels in some of these big areas. We also raise funds for national and local support programs and resources for people with hearing loss of all ages. So we have our Looping Project, we have our Hearing Loss Magazine, conventions, we do seminars, we do training. So we're out there at the national and the local level educating people about what is hearing loss and how you can help yourselves through your hearing loss. Then it's to bring together people with hearing loss, their families, their friends, their co-workers, the local community for a day of celebration and empowerment. And for me as a mother, this is the most important thing, because on the first day that we walked 7 years ago, I had only heard about the Walk4hearing in September. The walk was a month later. My family and I fundraised. But it didn't occur to me what an impact that first walk was going to have on myself and my 11-year-old daughter. Because for the first time, my mainstreamed 11-year-old daughter, who didn't know anyone else in the entire world with a hearing aid, was standing in a park in New York City with 1,000 people walking for a cause that meant everything to us, and she had never met another person. And all of a sudden, she felt that she belonged, and she had a place where she could join in. And the video, if anyone was paying attention to the video, the little girl that had the cat face on, that was my daughter, and she says in the video, like 3 years later, I walk because it makes me feel like I belong and I'm not alone. So for me, that's a huge thing. It's also really important that we show the community and the national, we need to spotlight the walk. We need to spotlight hearing loss so that we gain national attention. And the only way to do that is by growing the numbers. You know how it is. You know, money talks. And, you know, the more people that come out and support a cause, the more attention it gets. So we really have to do a good job of showing up. If we can show up, then we're going to get media attention, and that's what we're trying to do. So let me tell you a little bit about HLAA. You know, one of the things that occurred to me as a parent is that my daughter isn't going to be under my jurisdiction for her whole life. You know, she's 11 now. I got about 7 good years left, and then she's going on to be her own person and go to college and get a job and go out there and be a profiting, you know, member of society. So I had to give her the power now to give her the tools so that as she grows in her life that she has this organization behind her. And what HLAA does is they're an advocacy organization. They work on legislation. They worked a lot with captioning telephones, captioning on the internet. Santi and I were just talking about caption radio. I mean, their job is to make sure that people with hearing loss go out and live full and productive lives and have access to everything a hearing person has. They do a lot of outreach for veterans. They have a website, and they have resources at the national office that can help returning war veterans who come home with hearing loss. And we know that our veterans are coming home with many, many other problems, but hearing loss is also a huge piece of that, and we want to help them through it. Then we have our national convention, and it's a really wonderful place. I mean, I go every year, and especially when I'm looking for a new hearing aid for my daughter, I'm looking for new technology, it's all one-stop shopping. You go there, everybody's in one giant convention center, and you can go around and you can look at all the different things. And I mean, I met Catherine from Shanahan's down there a couple years ago, and it really connects you with the resources and the companies that are out there supporting HLAA. It's also a really great place to make friends. And I mean, as a parent, you know, I mean, none of my friends have hearing impaired children. So when I go to HLAA and I go to the convention and I see all these wonderful hearing impaired adults going out there doing wonderful things, it really validates that I'm doing the right thing for my daughter and that she's going to be fine. So it's really a wonderful place to make friends, get information, and get away for 4 days in a great location. We also have social networking opportunities for young adults. HLAA realizes that, like I said, your child is under your, roof, but once they leave college and they go out into the workforce, they're not always equipped to be able to